basically go very deep underground and make their projects of annihilation immune from Israeli or American attack. And we couldn't allow that because we understood what are the consequences of that. And therefore, we launched this operation that is targeted against the nuclear program of Iran, against the ballistic missile program of Iran, and of course, against their support against the proxies. Now, as you know, diplomatically, the United States has been trying to bring Iran to the table and agree to the conditions we have put forward to remove the enriched uranium from Iran and to limit the nuclear program and to limit the ballistic missile program, the help to the proxies. Now, since we started the operation, we concentrated at the beginning in neutralizing the air defenses. Then we went to attacking their attack capabilities, first at western Iran and then gradually into central and eastern Iran. We actually went after military assets, both Army, Navy, Air Force, but also, very importantly, the military production facilities of Iran. The result was that we have targeted thousands and thousands of military targets. It has been pretty successful and ahead of schedule. The Iranians, as you know, have launched a counterattack. They have fired hundreds of ballistic missiles and drones into Israel. We've managed to neutralize all the drones. When it comes to ballistic missiles, you saw that there were consequences. A few missiles have hit Israel. We have about 12 casualties so far. We have hundreds of wounded. There are several buildings that were damaged, not to the extent that we had back in June. The damage is much less because their capability to launch at Israel has diminished. They decided, as you know, to retaliate not only against us, but to attack 12 countries in our region, not just as they are stating military targets, but mainly civilian targets, both in Israel, but also in the Gulf. You've seen the result. We've seen the UN Security Council resolution that India actually co-sponsored that condemns that. What has been happening since then is that we are continuing to degrade their capability to shoot. The only limitation that we have at this point is basically weather. But besides weather that can undermine to a certain extent the capability of the air forces to act, the firepower of Iran has been diminishing constantly, and right now we are having something like 10 launches from Iran per day. We are pretty confident that this number will continue to drop in the coming days. Now, what is basically the way out of this? As you know, Israel and the United States have declared that we are actually, first of all, calling the Iranian regime to comply with the demands that we have put forward months ago. That's one way out. The other way is that because we don't want to be in a situation that every few months we have to pound Iran and continue preventing from it, fulfilling their agenda, we are also going to give the opportunity to the Iranian people to embrace the future. What does it mean? It means that we are also targeting Basij forces, the oppression forces that have been killing thousands and thousands of Iranian protesters in the last few months. And that is intended to create a possibility that we are not going to impose, because neither the United States nor Israel has the intention of invading Iran. But by greatly debilitating the repression forces, we want to give the Iranian people a situation which they can actually put pressure for a change in policy or for a change in of the regime. And we're going to see whether this happens or not, but we are pretty resolute in putting a focus on that, because I think not only it serves the Iranian people, it serves our aim of creating a more stable future in the region, And I think it also serves the general interest in the region of the Gulf countries and also of the international community to see West Asia or Middle East that is much more stable and freer from these terrible threats that the Iranians were planning to build, or they were actually building. Now, imagine what Iran would do after we saw how Iran attacked all the neighbors, what they would do if they would have actually a nuclear arsenal and if they would have tens of thousands of ballistic missiles. The results and the repercussions for the stability of the region would be much worse. So what we are undergoing now is nothing compared to what could happen in the future if the United States and Israel wouldn't have taken action now. Okay? So I'll stop here, and I'll be very happy to take your questions.
Sir, Siddhan from Beyond, how long do you think that this war will continue? Because there are various estimates which are being given by every side. US President said 4 weeks. What's your estimate? Because it's disrupting the global economic connectivity. We see the Arab world literally being now stopped.
Well, we are not specifying exactly how long it would take because it depends on many factors. I think one factor is the opportunity to continue with a military campaign to degrade the Iranian capabilities. This can take more time. At the outset, both the United States and Israel talked about a few weeks. We'll see. It depends also, of course, on the opportunity Iran has to change course. Right now, it doesn't seem that they are changing course. On the contrary, they are doubling down. They are digging in. But this situation can change in the future. We are hearing different rumors about differences within the Iranian decision-making process. So this can take more time. But we are not here to do a perpetual war. At the end of the day, as I told you before, we can have a diplomatic way out of this if the Iranians decide that they want to cooperate with the international community. But there is also an option that we'll just finish hitting our military targets, and from that point, we will basically go back to our lives. The Iranian capabilities will be debilitated, and we will have a chance to, resume to normal life. But I think that there are still unknowns, so I'm not able to fully answer your question.
It's not for the American, it's Israeli war. How do you see this?
Well, look, every country looks after its interests. Okay, India looks after its interests. Israel looks after its interests. And America does the same. And I think that all those who are, throwing these conspiracy theories that one country is taking hostage another country, I think that they should wake up. Okay. At the end of the day, I think we have strong leaderships both in the United States and in Israel, and everybody knows exactly what they're doing and why they're doing it. Okay.
Yes.
There have been talks of putting boots on the ground. Is that going to happen? And what other targets are left for you to attack, or are you done with?
Well, I'm not sure. I have operational information for you. We know that there have been some actions that have been done by commando forces, special forces. We cannot discard that this will happen in the future for very specific purposes. But as I told you, I don't think that a full-fledged terrestrial invasion is in the cards. What do we have still to do that we haven't done? First of all, we are still hunting launchers. This is something that we are continue to do, and of course we are going after the remainders of whatever is left of the production capabilities. Our assessment is at this point that the production capability of ballistic missiles has gone down to zero, that we have managed to degrade the launching capability about 70%. And we are going to continue going after Basij forces. What we are seeing now is that most of the Basij forces have gone out of their headquarters and they are hiding, operating from civilian establishments like schools and other facilities. We're going to continue hunting them.
I'm asked a couple of questions. One, Iranians are accusing Israel of targeting the civilian location, including the Shahran oil port, and they're saying that this is an ecocide clause by Israel. So what you have to respond to that? Besides that, do you think that you have already taken out the top leadership, or the current leadership of Iran still remains a target for Israel? And thirdly, do you see any possibility for Israel to engage with Iran on diplomatic negotiation and talk for have a diplomatic solution?
Okay, so I'll try to remember all the three. So the first is we are targeting military targets and targets that are serving the military. I must remind you that the energy infrastructure of Iran has largely still remaining intact. Okay, so that means that we haven't targeted civilian infrastructure at this point. I don't know if it will stay this way, because at the end of the day, if the Iranians do not comply and do not cooperate, we will have to deal with their sources of income. So there is still a lot for them to lose if they decide that they continue with this path, because right now we are controlling the skies of Iran. Okay. Number two was regarding
About the leadership. Leadership.
So we have taken about 40 of the leadership. Naturally, after such an operation begins, people go to hiding, so it would be much more difficult to continue targeting them. We have had some successes here and there, but it's not sure we'll be able to massively continue to target top leadership while they are hiding. Okay. We saw them hiding behind civilians, for example, during the Quds Day celebration. So we couldn't target them while they were, encircling themselves with children, etc. The third question was?
About any diplomatic solution? Or
Yeah, look, some people, still don't get that this regime in Iran has not only sworn to destroy us, has never even tried to engage with Israel in diplomacy. Okay? Never. Because they don't recognize us. So of course Israel always prefers diplomacy. We had 3 decades of diplomacy, indirect diplomacy, trying to convince the Iranian leadership, or the so-called the Iranian leadership, to change course, to engage with the world in a more positive way. We have used the diplomatic pressure, economic pressure, but they haven't changed their position. So now we have no choice but to use military pressure. Of course, that if the Iranian regime changes its nature and decides to recognize Israel and to engage with diplomacy in Israel, with Israel, then the future can be much brighter. We always said, and this was also proven in the past, that when somebody decides that they want to stop destroying Israel and they want to engage with Israel, this brings peace pretty fast. Take, for example, Egypt. When the Egyptians decided that they don't want to destroy Israel anymore, we had peace with Egypt. Okay, we had peace with Jordan. We did the Abraham Accords. Israel wants us to work for peace because we want to create stability and prosperity in our region, and we hope that there will be a change in this regime, and they will change their approach.
Ambassador, thank you for doing this. It's 2 weeks into the war. From the Israeli government as well as from the US, we've seen a kind of cascading aims put out. So I'll just say them for you. At the beginning, it was really about finishing Iran's nuclear capabilities. Then it became about the regime change, and we saw the killing of Khamenei. After that, you have said yourself right now that it's about degrading military facilities, and that you may even stop with some amount of degradation of military capabilities. So my question, and I do have like Pranay a few more, my question really is, has Iran's launching of missiles, has Iran's fight back, retaliatory strikes to the original US-Israel strikes, made the Israeli side change its position, change its achievable targets? That's one. The second, it seemed to take about 5 days before we saw Prime Minister Netanyahu again. We understand he is safe, he was at a cafe, but was he in any way harmed? Was there an attack directly on him? And my third is a follow-up to Pranay's question, which is that how do you respond after what you just said? How do you respond to External Affairs Minister Jaishankar saying in an interview to the Financial Times that he believes that diplomacy is the only way to deal with Iran?
Okay, so first of all, yes, Prime Minister Netanyahu is alive. I saw him personally when I was in Israel more than once. Yes, this video at the cafe is not AI fabricated. So, there's a lot of disinformation. I think it derives from the fact that the Iranian side and those who are accomplices to them are trying to cover for the weakness. Okay. Now, the aims of this operation haven't changed a bit. We are saying the same things, and they haven't changed. We want to neutralize Iran's nuclear program and prevent it from going immune into the deep underground. We want to destroy the ballistic missile program, and we are advancing pretty well at that. And we want to give the Iranian people to embrace the chance to have a better future. Now, of course, when the region is being attacked, there is an urge to defend the region, and we have been playing a role in hunting these drones and missiles that are not only launched against us, but are launched against our partners in the region. Okay, so what we are seeing here is a much more intense effort from the defense forces of all the countries in the region that are attacked to coordinate the defense in a way that will be more efficient against the threat. So our aims haven't changed. Okay. There was another. Is there another thing that I didn't answer?
That's the first one.
Okay.
The second is on, and you said Mr. Jaishankar's comment.
Oh, yeah. Look, again, we also support diplomacy, and we unfortunately have exhausted diplomacy to the extent that we had to take military action, and we hope that as a result of our military action, diplomacy will be relevant again. And I can share with you that in the last few days, we've been actually consulting diplomatic channels with many of our partners, of course the United States, but also countries in the region, including countries that we don't have diplomatic relations with, in order to see how we can stabilize the situation, what will be the result or diplomatic result of this effort, both in the Iranian context and the Gulf context, but also in the Lebanese context. So these negotiations and exchanges are going on, and of course we will also update our Indian friends when things are relevant.